Go. Welcome to the Talking to Kids About Sex interview series. I'm your host, Anya Maness, educator and parent coach, helping parents open the conversation between them and their kids so that they can ensure their kids have safe and healthy sexual relationships from the start. Today, I'm with Coach Keisha. She is an internationally recognized speaker, author, mentor, and a certified life coach who brings a whole lot of girl power wherever she goes. Keisha has a master's degree in counseling and over 10 years experience as a former school teacher and school guidance counselor. And today she is lovingly called the Queen of Empowering Teens because Keisha specializes in helping girls and young women build self-esteem while overcoming obstacles such as bullying, peer pressure, body image issues, social media madness, and friendship situations. Her life's mission is to both empower girls and educate parents on the latest hot topics and trends that relate to developing healthy girls in today's generation. Welcome, Coach Keisha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm wondering if you have a quick story for us about a time when a parent did or didn't talk to their child about sex and then something happened. Do you have anything to share?
Yeah, actually, I do. One of my coaching clients that I have that I've been working with, she's actually a 10-year-old young lady, and her mother allowed her to have an Instagram account. And she saw on Instagram that some people were posting about BJ's. And so she was thinking that, it was the restaurant BJ's. And she started talking about, everybody's talking about BJ's. Everybody loves BJ's. Well, after she started talking more and more about BJ's, her parents started to realize, okay, I don't think that they're talking about the restaurant BJ's. I think they're talking about something else. And so that kind of brought up the sex talk after her knowing more about what BJ's was. So,
and for anybody who is not familiar with that term, would you just explain it?
So BJ's is another term for blowjobs. So yeah, that's what we were referencing on Instagram.
Oh man. Okay. So then how did her parents handle that? Do you know? Did they go directly to explaining oral sex?
They did. So they ended up having to have the oral sex talk with a 10-year-old. And, unfortunately, whenever you introduce social media to teens or to youth, you are going to have that kind of talk because social media does introduce those kinds of topics to our kids. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that would happen because it seems like there's a mix of ages and experience levels all posting on social media, far more so than what we might experience in our friends group or our kids' class, right? And so since there's that mix, while that's an asset at times, it can also be kind of a drawback here where parents might have wanted to shelter their kids from something for a little longer.
Well, definitely. And then there's, you never know who they're speaking to. And you never know what types of groups or what type of people they're interacting with. And so, there's all sorts of ways that you can try to shield them. There's all sorts of ways that you can try to block. You can put different filters on their phone or different filters on your home, computers and things like that. But you still never really know what types of things they're going to interface with online. So anytime that they have a phone or anytime that they have access to the internet, you are going to have a talk with them about sex and about what types of topics may come up online.
Okay, well, can you help us understand what the biggest challenges are for adolescent girls today? And then we'll get more into the whole social media bit.
Yeah, definitely. So when working with girls, today there's a lot of trends and issues. We just kind of touched on a few of them just now. Social media is a big deal. As you know, a lot of teen girls are kind of glued to their phone, and girls are just longing for acceptance, especially their teenage years. They're longing for acceptance, but then they're also longing for that independence. They're in that weird stage of life where they're trying to figure themselves out, but they're also trying to grow up, and they're trying to figure out who they really are. What are their values? What are their beliefs? But as they're figuring all that out, they want to be accepted and they want to be loved by friends, by their family. And so it's kind of a confusing time. And this is the time when bullying becomes rampant. And then there's the social media. And so there's bullying in person, there's bullying online, there's bullying on their phone. So it's a really confusing time. It's a really high pressure time. So those are some of the issues that they're faced with. One, just being accepted. Two, their changes. There's changes in their body. There's changes in their mind. They're growing. They're trying to become more independent. And then three, the academic pressures of growing and becoming a teenager and going to high school. You know, nowadays a 4.0 is no longer a 4.0. They're trying to get above a 4.0. Everybody's trying to go to an Ivy League. So now the pressure, and, you know, it's like a pressure cooker in high school, and the stakes are high. So now there's a lot of pressure. It's like a stress epidemic walking down a high school hallway nowadays. So, you know, those are some of the trends.
So how do you help the middle school and high school girls that you work with? And I think specifically you work a lot on self-confidence and self-esteem, but, you know, what do you do and how do you help them?
Definitely. Well, I think it all starts with, number one, just them believing that they are enough. Number one, you know, because so many times they're looking to please other people, to please mom, to please their teacher, to please the popular girl at school, to please their coach, you know, and it's like, okay, at some point you have to believe that you are enough just as you are. At some point you have to stop pleasing others and you have to just love who you are. And then whenever you can really get them to fall in love with themselves, that's whenever they can start to make really valued and confident choices. Because whenever girls really love who they are, that's whenever they honor themselves and they make smart choices online. They make smart choices with boys. They make smart choices at school because they love who they are. They respect themselves and they're going to go after their goals. But whenever they don't love themselves and whenever they don't have that confidence, that's whenever you start seeing them go the other way.
So how do you help get them there? What's the secret to that? Because it seems like such a hard thing. Some of us don't love ourselves, you know? What are the steps to get there?
Well, it's definitely a journey. I mean, it's definitely something that, you know, like grown women, we're still working on it. You know, I tell my girls, like, you know, confidence, it's like a muscle. Like it's the same thing. It's like a muscle. You know, if you start lifting weights today and you build muscles, right? We got muscles. Well, if we stop lifting weights tomorrow, our muscles are going to go away. And that's the same way for confidence. You work on it today. Okay, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel great. But then if you stop telling yourself positive affirmations, if you stop lifting yourself up, if you stop taking time for yourself, then, you know, the next time somebody starts hating on you, or the next time you gain a little bit of weight, or the next time you don't get that promotion, or you don't get that job or whatever, you're going to start feeling bad. So it's a constant journey. Nobody in this world wakes up every day feeling confident and feeling like I'm the bomb, like every single day. Nobody does. Not even Beyonce. You know, I tell my girls, everybody in the world has to work on their confidence. Like everybody. Nobody's immune to, you know, having confidence issues. You always have to work on it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really helpful to hear how you help your clients, because I think that's something that we as parents can also do at home, even though there's a lot of, oh, mom, I know that you'll always love me kind of stuff that you'll hear from kids, to be able to talk about that journey and to say, hey, you know, everybody wakes up feeling bad sometimes, and here are, you know, those positive affirmations. Here are the ones that I say to myself. Here are the ones I think are true for you. Right, so that the parents can actually be helping that process along.
Definitely, and I kind of use this analogy of an inner hater and an inner cheerleader. It's kind of like back in the day, the cartoons used to have like an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the shoulder, right? So I tell the girls like, okay, you've got a cheerleader on a shoulder and you've got a hater on a shoulder, right? So every day you may hear your cheerleader talking, saying, hey, you're going to make an A on that test. Hey, those girls do like you. They're not talking about you. They like you. And hey, you should try out for the cheerleading team or whatever. But you may also have a hater saying, don't try out for the cheerleading team. Those girls don't like you. You're going to fail that test. Don't even take the test. Don't go to school today. Which one do you want to listen to? It is totally your choice. You do have a choice. And so every day you've got to choose which one you want to listen to. And every day you have that choice. Choose to listen to the cheerleader. You just have to make that choice. And you have to tell yourself, today, I'm going to choose to think positive. I'm going to choose faith. I'm going to choose positivity. And so those are those positive affirmations that I just preach over and over to my girls.
So some of your coaching is with the girls directly, but I think you also do some between moms and girls together.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what are some of the issues you see popping up between mothers and daughters, and how do you handle them?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of miscommunication. And there's also a lot of lack of communication. A lot of things that come up in my sessions just with the girls and I have never been shared with their parents. And when I ask the girls, why have you not shared this with your parents? They say a couple of reasons. They say, number one, because they have a fear of being judged. They have a fear of getting in trouble. They have a fear of their parents overreacting. And they have a fear that their parents just won't understand. And so I do a lot of mother-daughter work just on building that bond, but then also on helping them be able to communicate just on everyday things that are happening. Because, for example, if a young lady and her boyfriend break up, there's been times whenever the mom will go over to the boyfriend's house and, start a scene at the boyfriend's house. That's a little bit overreactive. So the next time that the young lady has a breakup, she probably won't tell her mom about the situation. And so, those type of situations cause that communication breakdown. And so I come in as a mediator to kind of mediate and mend and bridge that gap in communication and just kind of help them sort out those issues so that next time it won't be that overreaction and they can better understand and communicate with each other.
Do you have any quick tips for ways to improve the communication?
Yeah. Well, my first tip is to listen. And I know that sounds like something really easy, but just, I really want all parents to know that girls are really, really good at hiding their feelings and emotions with a smile. And a lot of girls who I work with are struggling with a lot of hurt and a lot of feelings that they have never shared with anyone, but they smile all day. And, but if you really listen, then you can hear that they're hurting and that they do have pain. And so my tip would be to listen. And I know that, our days are busy. Our days, we've got jobs, we've got soccer, we've got basketball, we've got Facebook and Pinterest, and, we've got a lot of stuff going on. But we've got to take the time to listen to her because, like I said, girls are good at hiding things, just smiling it away. I was one of them. That's why I do the work that I do. And my teen years were a terror, but nobody knew. I smiled my way through my teen years. And that's why I do the work that I do today, because I know what it was like not to have anybody to talk to. And there's so many girls out there today who are doing the exact same thing, who are struggling with so much. So just listen to them. That's one tip. Another thing is whenever they do come and actually talk to you, don't overreact. Take it all in and just let them know that you hear them. Just say, I hear you. And oftentimes they don't want you to fix it. They just want you to hear them. So just say, I hear you. And then just leave it at that. If she wants you to fix it, she'll say, well, what do you want me to do? What do you think I should do? She'll ask you to fix it. But just say, I hear you. And leave it like that.
Nice. No, I think that's so helpful to be reminded of, because somewhere in our brains we might kind of know that, and yet putting it into practice is a whole nother deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just a quick story. A few months ago, I had a client who president of student council, straight A student, lead flutist in the band, flutist, I believe that's the word.
Flutist, I think.
Really well in the band.
Yeah.
The flute. Doing really well. I mean, stellar student. And her mom found a suicide note in her room. So nobody knew she was struggling with all of this pain. And so that's just an example of a young lady who, whenever you saw her, you would think, oh, she's got it all together. But if you really listened to her, you would know that she was struggling with a lot. So just listen.
I had a similar, well, maybe not similar, but a parallel situation. I had a straight A student in my homeroom, and something happened to her. She was raped, and she wasn't talking about it. And, she was a straight A student because she was kind of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And now that she had had this experience, this really bad experience, she felt that she herself wasn't perfect anymore, which didn't meet her standards, which was a lot of shame to carry around, couldn't be fixed, and that led her to attempt suicide. So yeah, sometimes our highest achieving, seemingly most successful, most confident, most with it girls are the ones who are judging themselves so harshly and support the most.
Yeah, totally. For sure.
Well, okay, so we have all the support that we can give at home, and then sometimes we think that their Facebook friends and their Instagram friends and all of that is social. It's social media, right? And that somehow that's a support too, like they have all these friends when they're away from home. But is it really? And what's the effect of all this social networking?
Yeah. So, here's the deal. Like, a lot of the girls think that the people who they're talking to online are really those people. But even though they're in high school and middle school, we need them to know that there is still such a thing as stranger danger. And that a lot of those people that they're talking to are fake. Most, I won't say most, but a lot of the girls nowadays are really, really interested in meeting people on Ask FM, which is dangerous. If your daughter is on Ask FM, check her phone and delete it and make sure she does not get back on it again. And Omegle is another dangerous one. The tagline for Omegle is talk to strangers. So kids just should not be on Omegle, but for some reason kids found out about it and they like being on there, probably because it's really risque and it's anonymous, so they can be naughty on that site. But anyway, it's teens like to partake in this type of talk online, and they need to know that most of those people who are putting up a fake picture, a profile picture of a cute teenage boy, those are 50-year-old grown men who they're speaking to, and it's just inappropriate. Those are sexual predators, and we need our girls to know that it's dangerous. And people are being kidnapped. They're meeting up with these guys and they're being kidnapped, and it's just a dangerous thing to do. So yeah, that's one thing that we need our girls to know, that that they don't need to talk to strangers online, and then two, never meet up with anyone that they've met online. Never ever do that. I also always tell my girls, never compare yourself to anyone online as well. There's a ton of comparison going on, especially on Instagram. They compare themselves to celebrities. They compare themselves to their friends. They see that their friends hung out with another friend on Instagram over the weekend and they wonder why they weren't invited. So there's a lot of shame that goes along with that. And I just always tell them, don't compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel, because that's what Instagram is. It's a highlight reel of somebody's life. And if you're always comparing yourself, you're never going to feel good. Comparison kills confidence, period.
That is so good to remember.
Yeah.
Because we kind of can't help it, and yet the comparison game is always toxic. Like, it never, ever helps anything.
Yeah, for sure. So those are just a couple of tips, yeah.
Anything else that you think parents can do to encourage online safety? Like, are there other conversations they should have or other things they should do?
Yeah, well, one other thing is to encourage your daughter to turn her geotagging off. Geotagging, girls love, well, girls and guys, but teens love to take pictures, especially Snapchat, Instagram, and share their pictures. Well, every time that they take a photo and share it online, they're geotagging, which is like a satellite tracking. It shows where they were. So if I take a photo right now, it's going to say where I am whenever I share it, which means anybody in the world, aka a sexual predator, can come find me. So if you're a teen girl and you're at the park or you're at Quiznos or Pizza Hut or wherever you are and you're sharing pictures, any stranger can come find you. So I always encourage my girls to turn their geotagging off, because we know that they're going to be sharing pictures and we don't want any stranger to be able to come find them.
Yeah, and any of your true friends know where you are or whether you're out of town. So, like, it's redundant information that isn't needed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And your parents should know where you are anyway. So,
yeah. If you turn geotagging off, maybe your parents don't know exactly what park you were in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Keisha. And I think we might be running out of time. So I wanted to ask, did you have a special offer that you wanted to share with this audience?
Yeah, I do. So I believe that, are you going to send out the link or?
Yes. I will post the link right underneath this video.
Yeah, so if you click the link, then you'll be able to download the 10 most dangerous apps that teens are using today. And if your daughter or even if your son is using any of these apps, I strongly suggest you delete them from their phone, and then that you also download some parent monitoring apps to make sure that they don't re-download them as well. So good luck with that.
Thank you so much, because I know that is so overwhelming. Parents know that they're not totally in the loop when it comes to which are the newest and hottest apps that our kids are using. And so your perspective there is so helpful.
Yeah, no problem. It's all about keeping our kids safe. They're going to use technology. We can't keep them away from it. So it's just all about keeping them safe, since they're going to be on it anyway.
And if we can have these conversations when they're open to us, maybe, those middle school years, by the time they get to those older high school, college years, when maybe they are more closed to us, hopefully they'll know their way around.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's all about training period.
Definitely. Yeah.
To get those good habits in place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Keisha, so much. It was such a privilege to have you on the series.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
And have a great day to you and to everyone else.
All right. Bye.